everyone, how are you? Today, we're doing another VOD review. This one was sent in by a player named Hawk, not the YouTuber, Lone Hawk. This guy's just a regular old Hawk. He's more than social, he's not a loner at all. But we're playing Soldier 76. But Sky, we already did Soldier 76 last week. Well, a lot of people play the hero, plus our hero, Hawk, had some pretty interesting questions. And if you want to see some different types of heroes, then stop sending me just Ana and Soldier, guys. I've gotten a couple. I got like a Sombra one. But really, send me some cool stuff. You know, send me a Winston, send me a Mei, send me a Torbjorn. Man, if I'm telling you, if I get a Torbjorn VOD, instantly putting that out there. But, like I said, Hawk has some cool questions. So I am totally into it. Now, this first part is not really relevant to the questions, by the way, so just watch the gameplay or whatever. But he asks about high ground. So, of course, high ground's important. Everyone says you need to go on the high ground. I say that a lot too. But he's wondering when going on high ground and kind of splitting away from your team as Soldier is too much, and how you can remedy that type of situation. We're going to see he gets into a situation later in this round, very soon, where he keeps going on high ground, doing a slight, not even a big split, just a slight split from his team, and it goes very poorly. They're not going to move the card much further than this. So let's get into the match, and we'll get in, that scenario will come up pretty soon. You're going to see we are now on the low ground, of course, not the high ground. Our McCree went down, as we see in the kill feed, so that's looking pretty bad already. Although we're doing a nice job spamming out. We got our ultimate pretty nicely here. They pop the Genji Blade. Remember, it's a 5v6, so this is fine. This is fine. They pop Nano, they pop Blade, they pop the McCree. This is looking great. There's no problem with that. We won out, really, on ult economy. And by we, I mean, of course, Hawk, our hero, and me, his guardian angel with him in spirit. But here we are. We're on the high ground now, and this is what we're talking about. We're going to deal specifically with this area. We still have a lot of time on the clock. You see we have 4 minutes, 15 seconds left. So this push out is really to see how the other team is defending, because we didn't get too much information last time. Of course, the McCree is up here on the ship doing lots of nasty things to us. And unfortunately, our hero Hawk doesn't really pay much heed to it. And the McCree gets a lot of damage out of him. This is all coming from the McCree, by the way. All this damage you're about to see come out. Although the McCree is popping back a little bit. Now, he's putting out damage on the Reinhardt shield. Though, you have to think this angle here is okay. Especially if this is all you could do. But you can actually bite off a little bit more. As you see, this entire section is opened up. Especially because the McCree sort of went MIA up on the ship here. Not sure what happened to him. So this isn't bad if you need to, but because your team is coming from this direction and you are also coming from this direction, you can see the Reinhardt can easily shield both of you at the same time. So biting off a little bit more here, going a little bit deeper would have been okay. Now the Genji is on our hero, really on him, and he loses the 1v1 unfortunately. So it is a skill matchup. Soldier versus Genji, you really have to knock your rocket deflected like he did there. And you have to have pretty good aim. But we're not going to focus on the 1v1. This isn't about how to beat Genji in a 1v1 because you can't rely on that. Sometimes the Genji is going to outplay you, whatever. So our team's dead. Poking out a little bit here, we see the McCree's in that same dirty, nasty spot. So this is the push. We're down to 3 minutes. We need to start making some stuff happen. Ooh, Hook 2.0. Saved us there, but the McCree is up there doing a lot of damage, and we need to try to be suppressing the McCree a little bit. And even with Nanovisor, you see, because we were coming from that one angle there, we didn't get a lot of damage off. If we came off, bit a little bit more, remember, we have sprint. We can do a lot. We can cover a lot of ground really fast. Now, if we were Nanovisoring from this area up here, that would be completely devastating. So, unfortunately, we only get the Lucio, which isn't the best. The McCree rains down shots on us and winds up 100-0ing us, essentially. That McCree up there, he's a big problem. So at this point, it's kind of understandable getting the bearings because they've really been focusing our hero down pretty well. The McCree has been there to suppress him. The Genji has been there every time. When Hawk starts to walk up a little bit, the enemy Genji says, no, you're not going to do anything. And also the Reinhardt is focusing his shield in his direction as well. So now that we've seen, okay, we're kind of being blocked off here. Like the enemy team is focusing me pretty hard. Now the question comes in, should you go with your team or should you stay on this upper area? Well, the other team is actually committing a lot of resources. You see here, the Genji is focusing 100% on you, plus the McCree over there is actually shooting at you right now. You can't see it on the camera, but the McCree is shooting at the soldier here. So this is fine. You just have to live. Now, there you also, what are you doing there, Ryan? Whoa, what is that? Why is there Reinhardt there? But you have to live. That's the main key, especially as a DPS player, have to live, because right there, if the Genji had come up, if the McCree was shooting at you, and you actually lived, then you would have actually caused a net positive for your team, because the other team would have been expending more resources to shut you down than you are actually worth as an individual soldier. So we're going to abandon the high ground now, because it's just not working out very well, but we have to think a little bit more. Remember my strategy versus tactics video. This is a good time to demonstrate. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. I'll link it in the description. But the strategy of this player on this map, Gibraltar, is clearly to come up here on the high ground. You should have kept trying to make it work because it's not inherently flawed. It's just your tactics were wrong. If you had, well, we'll see it a little bit later. But we're going to see this is actually a lot worse being down here because now the McCree is really, really trouble. See, if you had come up here and just tried to suppress the McCree wouldn't have been able to do too much. The Genji would have had to come up to help him, and you would have been basically trading out 2 heroes for the price of 1. You just had to live, which means you had to play a little bit more passive in the doorway. You have sprint, so you can get away from the Genji, maybe take the 1v1 a little bit more. You know, small tactical things like not getting your rocket blocked. Because you switched to this thing kind of impromptu, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We just get 100% wrecked here. Even with the easy Reinhardt pick there, look, that was really kind of a gift. A gift, but we're not doing too much. Our hero really didn't get too much damage off. The only damage he got off was the gifted damage from the Reinhardt. Besides that, pretty much 0 impact in this fight. No damage at all. He actually managed to get a cheeky pick on the Genji, but the Genji, again, kind of gifted that to him as well. So because he was out of his comfort zone, and it was more of a panic thing, like, oh no, the high ground isn't working, I better try something else, that actually wound up with the worst push of all when he switched. So actually, let's go back to when he was on the high ground and see what he could have done better. All right, we can use this push as an example. So remember, McCree up there. I know the pixels are a little bit lacking here. We don't have many pixels to work with, but I promise you the 3 pixels up here are the McCree of the enemy team. This guy is doing a lot of work. We've seen that 2 pushes have happened so far. So if we just stood here and peppered down the McCree, we have a longer range as Soldier. Soldier is good at suppressing McCree from these long ranges because McCree has a 20-meter fall off and Soldier has a 30-meter fall off. We would be basically trading out the McCree. Instead, we're going to be going to a little bit more of a dangerous position. The Genji is getting pot shots off at us. Remember, there's still the McCree up there doing lots of bad stuff that we don't like. Actually, he's on the other side of the ship now, so maybe coming around to this side would be good. The nanovisor, again, doesn't get too much because we're not quite deep enough for it. And remember, we're not picking off important stuff, too. Like, these guys, they're not doing anything. It's the McCree who's been wrecking. The Reinhardt has been doing work, and the Genji, of course, killing you every time. And we're going to see here that the McCree indeed goes 1, 2, 3, and that's it. So, what could we have done there better tactically? Well, like I said, just focus down the McCree, play safer. The Genji would come for you like he always does, and then you're trading out 2 instead of being so aggressive. Let's take a look at the next one as well. In this case, we walk up. This is the very next push. We see the Genji right there. And remember, Soldier is a ranged hero, so if we just stood in this doorway, we'd be safer. Plus, you can actually hear the Reinhardt walking through. You can't hear it in the VOD. I turned the sound off because there's too many comms distracting you, but you can actually hear the Soldier, or the Reinhardt rather, walking, especially if you're further back. You'd have better audio awareness, I guess, of that catwalk. But here, this spot's pretty good. We just lost the 1v1 because we went in too far. We let the Genji get into melee range, which is never a good idea with Soldier. And we let him reflect a couple things, and we lost. So there, the high ground was never really the issue. The issue was either not focusing the right target, not focusing the McCree, going a little bit too deep, just losing the 1v1 with the Genji. And the strategy was actually fine. So I would really recommend this player stick with it, and then afterwards review the VOD like this, and you could say, oh, well, actually, those were the issues. Oh, I'm having a problem with my Genji 1v1s. Let's fix that. And he would improve at a faster rate. So just to tie it in with that last video, stick with your strategy. Anyway, I'm just going to do this one segment because I really went super focused on that high ground. The player was really wondering about how to deal with that high ground there. If you want one real takeaway from this regarding high ground specifically, is to go slower, especially when you have a hero like Soldier who can take these long angles. Look like that, stop, look around. Okay, this is clear. Plus our crosshair placement. Come on, I don't usually get on the crosshair placement because I talk about it a lot. But what is this? Let's get into the game, right? Crosshair up here. Crosshair should be up here. It should already be on the Genji because that's where your crosshair should be, on the corner. And at this point, you should dead stop, and just shoot the Genji from here. But instead, we're going to walk all the way up, be a little bit too aggressive. So take the high ground more slowly. We see that he does that in other cases too. But besides that, just keep it up. Keep working the high ground. Keep trying different things. Work on those 1v1s. You have to be able to take them, or at the very least run away. Because if you play passive enough, you can just run away. See the Genji? Oh no, I'm scared. Run. Because remember, you have sprint. Sprint's cool. So if you see the Genji up here, then you can say, oh, I'm scared, and go around to there. Go to a different angle. Because you're Soldier, you can do that. But yeah, just focus on those tactics. Focus on the nitty-gritty details. Your entry, your crosshair placement particularly. Like I said, it's just a small point, but the crosshair placement has been pretty mediocre this game. And you'll succeed. Your strategy's good. Keep it that way. Don't do this crazy panic, low ground stuff, because it just makes it worse off. But anyway, Hawk, thank you so much for sending in the VOD, and thanks to everyone who sends in VODs that I just can't get to. I feel really bad when I can't get to VODs, but when I get like 6 to 10 per day, there's not much you can do. Of course, you can increase the chance of having your VODs seen by asking good questions, having good titles, clickbait me. I don't care, man. But anyway, send me some exotic heroes, not just Anna and Soldier like I'm getting a lot of. And there's a couple other heroes, but that I get kind of a decent number of those as well. But anyway, guys, never forget to stay positive and have a great day. Peace out.